They escalated, sending his image to friends and family, telling him he would be labeled a pedophile, telling him his future was over, telling him you should just kill yourself.
He was showing all the signs of a behavioral addiction, and that's when a group of classmates decided that they would cyberbully him over a girlfriend that he had at the time.
When we were able to gain access into her online platforms, it was horrific. The content that was being pushed to her by design was suicidal, it was anxiety, it was depression.
Those are just some of the parents who say they lost their kids as a result of dangerous activity on social media. We've covered it extensively here on Outnumbered, and while some of those companies are vowing to crack down, a growing number of Americans, this is fascinating, look at this, at least according to our latest Fox News poll, do not want their kids to use social media. 64% of parents support banning social media for kids under the age of 16. And in New Mexico, the state's Attorney General, Raul Torres, who is suing Meta, wrote a letter to the company tearing into new PG-13 feature at a social media company aimed at protecting children from harmful content, writing, quote, Meta's misappropriation of the PG-13 label suggests a level of oversight that does not exist on the platform, and that it, quote, lulls parents into a false sense of security about the risk their children face when they use Instagram. The AG is calling on the social media giant to stop marketing teen account content as PG-13 and to implement meaningful safety protections for children. Meta, in a statement to the New York Post, said, quote, the only promotional stunt is this letter, which is littered with factual errors and misrepresentations and deliberately designed to distract from the meaningful changes and built-in protections we've introduced to help keep young people safe online. Okay, so they say, Harris, I am thrilled to see 64% of parents in agreement, because to stop this absolute ill on our children, we as parents need to be united.
So if it won't work for this, why do we have it for movies? Why do we have PG-13 for TV? Like, so apparently what it does is it gives parents a backstop. It flags the kids to, wait a minute, this might not be for you. I don't know how much that deters them, but it gets a conversation going also with parents that that's not for you. It's not that we're not going to do our jobs. It's just that it would be great to get somebody to recognize that in doing our jobs, we could use a little bit of help. And that's all this does. So if it doesn't work for all these other areas, why wouldn't it work for something like this? I think that it would. And the 16 and under that Australia has done is a whole different conversation, because now you're getting into those ages where kids really, you can see the damage happening. They stop making eye contact with you guys. Like those teenagers, they're not, and I know, and I fought that. And I tried to combat it with my own daughters, making life outside the phone more interesting. That requires more work as parents. You know that. That's okay. What else are we doing that's more important?
Yeah, nothing. Emily, when you look at a ban, you know, federal ban, let's say, I personally am for it. You know, my husband was like, no, leave it to the states. I had another conservative say to me, you know, I don't want government control. I get all those arguments. I also know we have alcohol bans at 21. I also know you can't get married at 18. You can't join the military without parental consent, make health decisions. We have agreed as a society that certain ages are appropriate for certain activities.
And if you appreciate this as an epidemic, a fatal one, then you appreciate that the only solution is one that would match that would be commensurate to that and how it works. I mean, there are movements that parents are a part of, the Osprey movement, for example, which is committed to no social media, no smart technology for their kids on their phones, and then Australia and the like. Clearly, people are trying to do something. And I note, and this is to me the most horrifying thing at all, as we saw with Zuckerberg in his testimony at Congress when he had his little piece of paper across the camera, and then we learned that his kids don't have social media. So you're telling me that we are supposed to appreciate and rely upon the things in place to protect our kids. I see the ads, you guys. It's all over Times Square. It's all over 6th Avenue. It's on commercials. I'm supposed to trust that, oh, my kids are in safe hands. The only safe hands for your children are your own. And if they are showing us they don't even trust it with their children, why should we trust ours? As you said, we have covered it extensively here. I've spoken with the interview for I have interviewed some of the attorneys for the families that have lost their children to suicide, and they can never get their children back. So whatever happens here, these companies, you guys, are only losing profits. But our families have lost their children. That is unforgivable, and we need a commensurate result.
Yeah, I went to a meeting with a bunch of moms recently, a big meeting. It was like 50 of us, and there was just fear. Everyone, different political parties, different ideas, but fear on this issue, rightfully so. To the point of Capitol Hill, I see a lot of bipartisan acknowledgement that there is a problem. I never thought I'd say, oh, I agree with Dick Durbin, but here I am. I agree with Dick Durbin. He said this: we make great speeches here. We sometimes enact great laws in the committee, but when it comes to taking them to the floor to enact them on the floor and eventually sending them to the House, we drop the ball completely, Marie.
There are so few issues, particularly around our children, education, cultural issues, where you have such bipartisan support today. I mean, if you look at our Fox News poll, almost 70%, 69% of respondents want to ban cell phones in K through 12 classrooms because they know that that makes them not learn as well. They know that impacts their education. And so I think this is one place where all of these tech, they are mostly tech bros, right, that lead these companies, are just missing the moment. And that quote from Meta about, whatever, gaslighting, whatever terminology they use, they are missing the moment where the country is. And the people, Emily, to your point, are terrified. We are losing, the worst cases are when these children commit suicide, but even just kids who their education isn't as good, or they are depressed because they're looking at a false sense of what their life should be that may not even be a real person, by the way.
Yep.
That may be a bot, and they're not appreciating the real world. And so, to your point about congressional legislation, I hope this is one place. I hope, there are so few places where lawmakers can actually act together. This is one place they should. And these companies that for so long have enjoyed unfettered power in this country, their moment has come, and they need to meet it. And those who do will be more successful than those who don't.
Both of you have worked for leadership in government. So what do you need for citizens to do?
You need to rise up and put the pressure on your leaders, and you need leadership on it. You need top folks in both parties, President Trump, whoever's the nominee on the other side of the aisle next round, like J.D. Vance, wide agreement, bipartisan coming, because that's how you beat industry.
Can I just say where the leadership starts? It starts at home. How many of those 70% who are agreed on this have their kids have smartphones? How many of them are? I mean, I raised 2 kids in Manhattan. They just had the flip phones. They didn't have the internet connection on their phones. Now, granted, this was when social media was in its infancy. But at the same time, if you agree that kids are being harmed by something, you should be against them having it in your home.
Teachers
it starts right there.
On Google Chrome and these other things that are connected to their phones. They have email addresses at school. They know these kids. And so while they can't maybe at every campus take their phones into the classroom, that is part, and that's coming out of the pandemic. That's actually a disease that we cannot
But the
cure.
pandemic is over, and we now have another pandemic, and the pandemic is kids killing themselves as a result of social media. Get them off of it and start at home.
Absolutely, and I totally agree. It does start at home, but with certain things like, let's say, alcohol or cannabis use in some states, we've agreed it's an ill, it's harmful, and that's where government steps in.
It's got to be a partnership.
Yep. Absolutely. Partnership.
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.